Sspopiikimi. Last night the moon disappeared, and so we're transitioning into the cycle called Itotstoi. When the cold weather arrives, when the winter arrives. And so the summer is, in the lunar cycle at least, officially over. And you know, the weather has changed along with it. Last night for the first time, well, this morning for the first time yet this season, woke up to a frost when I got out of bed, which was already after sunrise. It was -5 degrees Celsius outside, and so the timing of that frost is pretty much perfectly coincide with the disappearance of the last summer moon. And so it's been about a week since I've been out here at Sspopiikimi, so I thought I'd take a walk around today, see what's shaking. On my way in, I noticed there's still a funnel web spider making her web. So the funnel web spiders are still out and about, but it probably won't be too long before we get our good first shot of snow. And those spiders, I'm not sure what goes on with them. Anyway, I'm gonna walk around, see what's happening, and take you guys with me. Yeah, I'm noticing that there's still a good number of insects around. This is again either cherry-faced meadowhawk or variegated meadowhawk, dragonfly, and on the path I've seen several dragonflies. I've also seen a pink-edged sulphur, one of the same whites from that I saw last week. And yeah, basically they're still around, which I think they will be until they get frozen completely. I did take a little trip through the North Wood. I thought maybe I was going to get a chance to follow a magpie and see what they were up to, but it turned out that magpie was following me. This is the North Wood here. Trees, you can see they're all getting golden up, and in fact on the forest floor there's getting to be quite a few leaves, and not just the aphid infected leaves, but the real golden leaves that belong on the forest floor this time of year. So I think we got the good frost, so everything's gonna turn now, and we're gonna get a good wind, and they're all just gonna dump, be gone in a single day, most of them. Then we'll be back to skeleton forest time again. So anyway, I'm headed toward the forest main. One of the things that is always revealed this time of year when the leaves come off is you get to see where some things were hidden in the leaves by the animals. Birds' nests, you get to see lots of birds' nests when the leaves come off, and one of the ones that I always am looking for is this one up here. This is the hornet nest. There's always going to be a hornet nest every year somewhere at Sspopiikimi, and usually during the summer I can't find it. It's just too well hidden, too well concealed. I always got to look out for it because it could be in the buckbrush. Sometimes they put it very low. I'm glad to see this one. This one is really high, higher than I think this might be the most high positioned hornet's nest I've seen at the pond here over the years. Most of the time they're either in the buckbrush or they're maybe in some lower branches 4 or 5 feet off the ground, but not like this. This is pretty high up there. But yeah, you know, most of the summer I'm just always concerned about bumping into the hornet's nest on accident myself when I'm going through the brush, and then I'm always amazed to find out once the leaves drop where the nest was. And you know, in this case, I probably, who knows how many times I passed underneath this nest and never noticed. But yeah, it's a good time to start. Once the leaves drop, it's a good time to start looking at the different nests that were around. If you know how to do some nest identification, and there are some guides for that, but it also helps to have seen the birds at least once during the actual nesting period. Then you get to really associate that particular kind of bird with that particular kind of nest. Sometimes it's hard to tell from a guide, unless it's a really distinct nest, like, you know, magpie nest is, there's no other bird that's going to make that nest, or a oriole nest. You know, there's nobody else. But if you're around in the summer and you at least know what birds were around, then it's just a process of elimination. Then you find the nests, and then it's just a matter of looking through the guides and finding out which nest probably belonged to which of the birds that you'd seen in the summer. So yeah, that's a part of it that I'm looking forward to. Once these leaves are dropped off, then really get a good survey on the nests of the summer. This summer, I a lot of times I do, you know, really go out looking for the active nests, watching nest building and watching the hatchlings develop into fledglings and all of that. I've done that some years. This summer I really didn't do much of that. Kind of just, in fact, I actually didn't visit even the pond too much this summer, just here and there, kind of spotty, maybe every other week or so, which is odd for me. But I certainly didn't keep very good track of the nests. So it'll be cool to see where they all were anyway. I think I'm gonna go down to the duck blind and see what's going on, if the mallards are still around. Alright, so today's scene at South Pond is quite a bit different than my last two visits. Today we have a family of Sspopiikimi, or Canada geese here. I haven't seen any Canada geese hanging around here since the goslings matured. So my suspicion is that this is one of the families that that was here earlier in the summer raising goslings. And there's also, you know, some independent couples here. We get what I think is a ring-billed gull and just a few mallards. Not like it has been with the two islands being kind of like covered with mallards. Today is just a small handful of mallards here and there. See what's going on with this goose who is honking. Whoop, sorry. Don't have a tripod, so camera work is not fantastic. I see something interesting going on over here. Oh, back up. There you go. This mallard couple over here, the drake was making circles around his wife. Yeah, so no sign at all of the herons that I usually see here right before winter, nor the lesser yellowlegs, nor even any killdeer. So pretty much none of the peeps or shorebirds hanging out here at the pond. Yeah, I was just thinking, since we're walking around, I might as well do some show some of the different plants that live here. This here with these berries, they kind of you get some mostly light berries, but they some turn blue. This is buckbrush. There's actually a little fly on here too. This is buckbrush. And I don't know any traditional uses for buckbrush, but here at the pond, I do know that a lot of different animals use it for cover, because it's a low kind of ground cover by the forest area, and you get a lot of like the ducks will find a good spot of buckbrush and put their nests in there, that kind of a thing. Here you got this kind of like delicate but tall plant with these red berries, and what this is it's actually asparagus, wild asparagus. So this plant is going to turn a bright, or kind of like a neon yellow color almost in the winter, and it'll stick out like a sore thumb all over the pond. You'll be able to see them. Like I can already, you know, of course I can already spot them. Here's one here, right there. It's already turning yellow a bit. There's some up this way, right here. You can see them above the other plants. But yeah, you'll find them all around. Pretty much not just here at the pond, but all around the Old Man River in general. And if you know where the good patches are, then, and they're easy to find in the winter because of that yellow color that sticks out so well, then you'll be able to early in the summer season get the asparagus shoots, and they are really, really good. I mean, they're way better than any asparagus you're gonna get at the store, because they're fresh, and they're wild. And they're just absolutely delicious. So that's a couple of the plants that you see around here. And I'll maybe point out some others as we go along. Here I come across some black-capped chickadees, searching for little insects in the forest main. Black-capped chickadees are going to be one of the birds that are they're going to be here all winter. They don't migrate. They stick with us. And a lot of times they're curious birds. So they'll come when I enter the forest in the winter. A lot of times they'll come and check me out right away, try to find out what I'm doing. It's not unusual to find them hanging out with the downy woodpeckers, which is another one of the birds that's here all winter. The Blackfoot name for the black-capped chickadees is Sspopiikimi, and they're one of the birds that the sounds that they make are really easy to learn, especially one of their classic ones. In English, people say it sounds like "Here, sweetie." The Blackfoot name for the downy woodpecker is Sspopiikimi, but that one, if we come across one, I'll show you. They're here, and but it all just depends on whether we happen to run across one today, whether I'll be able to show one to you. It's a very, very small woodpecker. Again, like last week, the presence of northern flickers, Sspopiikimi, has diminished significantly. So I'm not hearing any northern flickers yet, and I don't know if there's any still around here at the pond. The other one that I haven't heard yet today, and I don't know if he's still around or not, is the kingfisher. He was here up to last week. In fact, I got a little shot of him in the distance across the pond from when I was on top of the beaver lodge last week, but I haven't heard him at all today. And he's got a real distinct sound call that he gives when he's flying lots of times, so if he's around I should hear him. So we'll see if he happens to come out or if he's gone. I'm going to go up the levee here and drop into the owlwood. Yeah, just down here in the owlwood, thought I'd show you another plant. This time of year it's got this really cottony seed heads on it. It's about maybe a 3-foot tall plant, and down on the stems a lot of them have this kind of a round gall. This plant is called the tall goldenrod. We have two types of goldenrods here. We got Canada goldenrod, which is short and grows in more exposed areas. Then we got the tall goldenrod, which is more of like a shade-loving plant, grows in the forests. And I don't know really any traditional use for the plant itself. However, I have seen these galls being painted with ochre and made into necklaces. I've seen them in museum collections before as necklaces that were painted red, and I kind of think that these were some of the old style beads, you know, before the big glass trade beads came around. I kind of think that more of these goldenrod galls were used. I just heard the sound of a male ringneck pheasant. Our chances of seeing him before he sees us are pretty slim. he just called again. He's out here in the owlwood somewheres. I am also seeing a lot of, well, not a lot, but some damselflies still around in these goldenrods. Just come across an unfamiliar wasp. I want to try to get a little video of it, maybe a photograph of it with my phone. Again, I didn't bring my good camera, and this is unfortunately where I could use the good camera, because, oh, there it goes, it's gone. It would have been nice to get a photograph of that. That's a insect that I don't believe I've seen here before. Although I know there's lots of insects here that I haven't paid attention to before. I had a couple of years ago started kind of queuing in on insects, and since then I've learned definitely all the more common ones, and even I think probably quite a few of the less common ones that are here at the pond regularly. I decided to climb up the coulee slope underneath the high level bridge, which is pretty much the most famous piece of architecture probably in Alberta, and certainly a big one for Canada as well. I was looking for a couple of plants. One of them was yucca. A friend of mine who is very into plants told me he has found yucca up underneath the bridge, and if that's true, that's kind of a rare thing, because the closest yucca that I know of is down toward Great Falls, Fort Benton area. The other thing I wanted to look at was these plants. This is Sspopiikimi, it's this, or stinging nettle, and I wanted to see if it was still looking good enough to harvest for tea for the winter. I didn't quite get myself enough that it's going to last all winter, but as I see now, it's really only some top leaves. The big leaves that I make my tea with have already dried and come off of these plants, it appears. So I'm out of luck for getting more tea, just too late on the ball, and that's what happens. But these plants are very good for making rope, hemp rope, and so this patch up here in the middle of winter after it's dropped its seeds, sometimes I'll harvest from just for rope making purposes. So I'm going to hike down again, see if I can come across any of that yucca on the down trip. You know, when you're looking at an area this extensive from here to the river, and you're looking for maybe one little smattering of plants, it can be difficult to locate what you're looking for if you don't know exactly where it is. And I don't know exactly where this plant is. All I know from what my friend told me is it is somewhere under the bridge. For all I know, he could have meant the other side of the bridge, but I think he was talking about this side. And if it is here, my suspicion is that it was brought here. The seed somehow was brought here by the train itself. But in any case, I'm going to hike it back down toward the pond again. Still a lot of, noticing right now, still a lot of good choke cherries on some of the choke cherry trees. Like this patch here is just really nice. I'm gonna munch on those on the way down. So still potential for choke cherry harvest. Not too many trees I've seen here looking like this though. This is just a view of Sspopiikimi from above. You can see how it looks. It's an old oxbow off of the Old Man River. This is the Old Man River right here. High level bridge. Never did find that yucca, so I moved off to the north of the bridge now. I'm probably not going to come across it. What I'm seeing a lot of, oh, by the way, I just heard a kingfisher down by the river below somewhere, so the kingfisher is still here. One of the plants that I'm seeing a lot of up here, you know, it's bright, nice color, is these little roses here, the rose hips. In Blackfoot they're called Sspopiikimi, which is the same word that's used for tomato. And this is one of the 3 roses that I normally come across. This is the prairie rose. It's right down close to the ground level, and it has a big berry, and they're just all over in here. I don't know if you can see them through the camera, but if I zoom in, you see them. They're just everywhere in here. Lots and lots of berries. This is an excellent source of vitamin C. They're pretty soft right now, so it's a good time to pick. You normally get that way after the frost, and yeah, it's a good time to pick them. I've just been snacking on them on my way down the coulee slope. I am looking for, as I'm walking along, I'm keeping my eyes open for Sspopiikimi, which is another berry that we sometimes get this time of year, but not seeing any yet. So yeah, I run into that one. The other, this is another one, same kind of thing, rose. And these ones, the foliage turns red this time of year, and you see. Let me see if I can zoom in and find some. There are some berries on it. Some of the rose hips, Sspopiikimi. They're a little bit smaller than the prairie rose. And the stems of these roses, see if I can get a good look at a stem here. Stem of this species is very, very prickly, very, very spiny, lots and lots of spines, lots of thorns, and hence it has the name prickly rose. And it grows a little bit taller than the prairie rose. So we have the prairie rose, prickly rose, and don't know if I'll run into any today, but they are out here. I also have Canada rose, which is about the same size as the prickly rose, maybe even a little taller, and it doesn't have so many spines. Yeah, again, like last week, we seem to still have some pink-edged sulphurs, butterflies hanging around. I'm going to have to look a little bit more into their life history and see whether or not they winter. Some butterflies do seem to overwinter, and these guys, I don't even know really which plants they lay their eggs on, you know, and what their whole annual cycle is like. So I should do my homework and look it up in a book. I don't really like using the books. I like to discover things on my own, and that way the knowledge becomes much more embodied, I think. And you know, it takes work to discover. So if you take a question like that, you know, what do the pink-edged sulphurs do in the winter, or where do they lay their eggs, or what do they feed on? These kind of like questions, basic questions that you should know about every butterfly in your area. You take those questions upon yourself, and then you follow the pink-edged sulfurs, and you find the answer. That's the real way of what I think is the better way of learning. People often talk about research when they're actually talking about going to a library and looking something up in a book. To me, that's not research. To me, research is just what I'm talking about here. Now here's another couple of pink-edged sulfurs, and we can actually get a look at what they're up to right now. I think they're mating. I have seen pink-edged sulfurs mating this time of year. We got 3 of them together, and they're all right around a little yellow aster, some kind, something close to like a dandelion, which tells us they're probably eating off of that. Now there's another, there's another up just a little bit above here. There's another flower, and where does it go? There's the one. It's just hard to see in this little lens thing. Is this it? Yeah, there it is. There's another pink-edged sulfur there, another flower. So they're definitely attracted to these yellow aster flowers. And like I said, I have observed them mating in the deer moon, Sspopiikimi, which we just got out of. So they're probably still at that, the ones that are here today. And the big question is now, where are they depositing the eggs after they're mating? It's an open question still. Back to the south pond now. You can see goose family still hanging out. The one lone, I think it's a ringbill gull, but we might get a better look at it from this angle. Still there. Still got a few mallards. Yeah, my ability to identify a ringbill from a California at this distance without binoculars is not good. Geese are taking their baths. Bath taking among these birds is pretty contagious. So end up a lot of them will start taking baths when one of them begins. Alright, here's something of interest. You can hear golfers in the background. This is some painted turtles. 4 of them, adults, out basking. It's currently 3 degrees above zero here, and we are in the first winter moon. And so seeing them basking today makes me think that perhaps the rattlesnakes will be basking today as well. And so I'm going to go work my way over to the vehicle, jump in and go check out a rattlesnake hibernacula. Alright, just something worthy of phenological note. I stopped and was filming this patch of asters last week, and we noticed drone flies and a sweat bee there. The flowers are still in bloom today, and what I'm seeing today is I got honeybees. There's a honeybee on here. There's a couple of honeybees here actually, and I got some other, let's see if I can find him in the viewer. There's another kind of bee here. Let's see, where is he? Oh, he's just moving around, he's hard to get. I'll see if I can find him. Oh, there he is. Just lost him again. He might be a sweat bee. No, he's different. He's different. He's not green. Oh, here he is. Oh, maybe he is. I don't know. Let's see. There he is. Different, not the sweat bee, something else. Sulphurs. Seeing lots of them in pairs like this. They definitely get themselves involved in mating activities. I have also seen some of them on absinthe plants, and just to show you what an absinthe plant looks like, it's like this. This is the young immature leaves of the absinthe. You can see these dry stalks here are the tops of this last year's absinthe. And absinthe, of course, is the same as wormwood, and it's introduced plant here, but now it's well established, and basically it was brought here because it can be, when properly distilled, you can get a hallucinogenic liquor out of it. That liquor is currently illegal in almost every country of the world, but at one time was all the rage not so long ago. So I wonder even if the sulfurs are laying their eggs on the absinthe. It's a possibility. In fact, it's even a possibility. I don't know the history of these pink edge sulfurs. Maybe they even came in with absinthe. Who knows? Any case, one thing I failed to note back at the hairy golden aster patch with the bees was that I still have been seeing drone flies today. I have not seen them on the flowers though, but I have seen them around. So it's not like the drone flies have gone into their hibernation holes in the cut banks yet. They're still out and about. But it's interesting that today there's honeybees and last week there wasn't. That to me is a little bit curious. But anyway, I'm almost back to the vehicle. If I don't see anything between now and then the next stop is going to be a rattlesnake hibernacula, and we'll see if the snakes are up and about still.
Sitting here at what is probably the most densely populated rattlesnake den in my area. Not too many snakes out today. There's about, I would say there was about 4 or 5 when I first came on the scene. Some of them went in, and now I'm just being patient, and some of them are coming back out. They're just basking, you know, in the sun. A little bit of wet basking they can still do. The season's really almost at its end for them, for sure. Supposed to have one warm weekend, and then it's going to get very cold. I see a large snake looking out at me from in the den. I don't know if we can see that on here. Probably not. He's in the darkness back in here. No. He's thinking about coming back out though. But yeah, it's nice to see. Last chance to visit with the snakes. There's one on the move right over here. You can see him. Just heard a little bit of something in the brush and the grass, and there it is. There's his body anyway. It's on the move. I don't know if he's going in or out. But yeah, they're here, and this is probably going to be the last chance for any stragglers to get back before the end of season. And I'm thinking, oh, that one is headed out, not in. I'm thinking that I am probably going to go and look for the rattlesnake that I helped survive the accident and released a couple weeks back. See if he's at that other den site, see if they're out. But these ones here, they are, but not many of them are out. I would guesstimate probably 30 to 40 snakes reside in this den, and we're only seeing a few of them today. Yeah, so I did go check on another rattlesnake hibernacula, one where I released the injured snake after healing from its operation, and there wasn't anybody home. I think they're all inside, you know, just to show it's like the pond. There's what, 4 turtles out of the huge population of turtles that live there. The biggest hibernacula for snakes, there was maybe 4 or 5 at most snakes out, and this one is a much smaller hibernacula. Nobody was out, so it's not too surprising. Probably already in hibernation mode. I might give it another shot this weekend sometime, next couple of days, because it's supposed to be pretty warm. After that we get into the real cold, so I think today might be the last day I see the snakes, but like I said, I'll check out the smaller den over the weekend, and maybe someone will come up. We'll see.